Welcome back, guys, to the video, and today we're doing our 2024 NFL playoff predictions. We have it set up bracket style, kind of like March Madness. You guys know the drill. This should be a very exciting, I was gonna say playoff weekend, but I think it'll be an exciting playoffs overall. But especially this weekend, there's some really good games, some cool potential storylines for this playoff as well, or playoff run, I guess. As well. So we're just going to jump right into it. The first game is going to be the Browns and the Texans. Also, while I do this, I'm going to go over every single round before I move whatever team forward. So whenever I say who I think is going to win and then go to the next game, the team's not going to move, but just wait for me to finish the whole round, then I'll advance them so it'll be easier to see. I don't want it to look like too jumbled, basically, is why I do that. So just hang in there. It'll make sense in a second in case you're confused, but if you aren't, then you obviously know what's going on. But for the first game, it is the Browns and the Texans. So this is actually very interesting because they just played a couple weeks ago. However, the Texans did not have CJ Stroud at the time. So obviously there's a big difference in the Texans offense with and without their star rookie quarterback. The Browns are just really good. Great defense. Flacco has been I was going to say a hidden gem, but I don't even think that's even a hidden gem. Like, people knew who Flacco was. He just, I don't know, came out of nowhere, taking over the league and now the playoffs by storm, which is pretty cool, honestly. I'm honestly here for it. So, Browns and Texans. I can honestly see this game going either way. I think you can make a very fair argument for either team. However, for me, it comes down to the Browns defense and the experience. That is the only thing. CJ Stroud is amazing. He's had an amazing year, but Flacco obviously has way more experience than CJ Stroud. He's played in these playoff games. He's played in Super Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl. So Flacco knows what it's about. He's a very good defense as well. I don't think at a certain point Stroud can really hang in there. If you had Tank Dell, maybe a bit more offensive power, kind of help distribute the ball around that Browns defense, but I don't think the Texans are quite there. But I'm going to be honest, the Texans are one of two teams in this playoff where if you lose first round or you lose in the Super Bowl, I think it's a huge win for your season. And we'll talk about what the other team is whenever we go to it. But the Texans are definitely one of those teams because just blew away expectations, but I do have the Browns in that game. So next is the Chiefs and the Dolphins. So again, they played each other already back in London. Not sure what week that was, but probably, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or something like that. They played and the Chiefs did win that game. This is Tyreek Hill's first time back in Kansas City since the trade, so that's pretty cool. But I have to pick the Chiefs. And the reason for that is, and believe me, I don't think the Chiefs are that strong of a team this year. I really don't, especially going into this playoff kind of game. But you have Arrowhead, prime time, 0 degrees, I think is the temperature for that game. And the Dolphins are so hurt. Like, they are banged up all over the field. You have, obviously you had Waddle sitting out. You had Mostert sitting out because they were banged up. You've had Tyreek Hill limping off the field constantly because of his ankle injury. Then on defense, you lost Jalen Phillips for the year. You lost Bradley Chubb for the year. And then last night, you lose Andrew Van Ginkel for the year. And then you also have someone else get hurt who I can't remember who it was. But again, that defensive line. So this is a very depleted Dolphins team. I don't think Xavier Howard played yesterday either for the Dolphins. So when it comes down to it, it's just the temperature, the away game, Mahomes at home against a very hurt team. I can't pick the Dolphins. I got to go Chiefs there. Next to the Steelers and the Bills. Anything is possible, but for me, this is probably the easiest game to actually predict. I'm saying the Bills. The Bills have bounced back very well. There were talks 3 weeks ago that the Bills were really falling off. I guess probably more 4 or 5 weeks ago. But then since probably 3 weeks ago, they kind of caught on fire, and they are back 2 seed. I think they can handle the Steelers fairly easily, so I had the Bills in that game. Then next is the Eagles and Buccaneers, and people might not like this, but just hear me out, okay? I am going to pick the Buccaneers in this game, and this is coming from a Panthers fan, okay? So I don't like this team. I do not like the Buccaneers. I like Baker Mayfield, kind of a feel-good story. I do not like the Buccaneers, but I'm picking them over the Eagles because the Eagles have kind of started to collapse at the worst possible time. Also, they have A.J. Brown questionable with his knee. Devontae Smith questionable with his ankle. He didn't play last week. Hurts dislocated his finger or whatever. I'm not sure you guys saw it, but his finger is all kind of, I'm not going to hold the finger up, but it was all kind of, I guess bent out of place or whatever. So he's dealing with that in his throwing hand. You had DeAndre Swift, who was sick. He should be back, so that's not like one of the major concerns. But you have all that going on. You lose, I think his name is Sidney Brown, I believe, the safety, to an ACL tear for the rest of the year. Like, the Eagles are in a very bad spot right now. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they beat the 49ers even if they win this game. But I don't think they honestly do. I don't think they go into Tampa and win. I think they have too much going against them. It's really unfortunate. I like the Eagles a lot. I'm not going to lie. I like Jalen Hurts a lot, but it's just a lot of things going wrong at the worst possible time. They can win this game, but I think at a certain point, the injuries are going to catch up to them. Next is the Lions and the Rams game, and this is like probably the game everybody's looking forward to the most, unless you obviously have your favorite team in the playoffs. Of course, I never do because I'm a Panthers fan. But for the Lions and the Rams, I believe they said this game, the ticket price again, is double any other game. Okay, this is Stafford back in Detroit for the first time since he's left in a playoff atmosphere for the Lions for the first time in forever. I mean, this is about as good as it gets. I'm really excited for this. And I'm going to be honest, I could see Stafford going in there and actually upsetting the Lions. But I'm not going to predict that. I'm going to pick the Lions to win this game. I think overall they are the better team, but they are definitely prone to potentially losing this game. I'm not sure why I feel like that. I'm not sure if it's just the way the teams match up. I'm not sure if it's Stafford, but I wouldn't be blown away if the Lions lose this game, but I am still going to pick them. I think they're the better team. They have an amazing offense. Sam Laporta, injured though. Not ideal. They say it's kind of like a long shot to play this week. I doubt he does. So hopefully you win. You have him back, the next week to make that kind of potential Super Bowl run. But kind of sucks without Sam Laporta. But I do think the Lions can still handle the Rams at home. They're in Detroit, so I'm picking the Lions in that one. After that is the Packers and the Cowboys. And I'm going to be honest, when I was doing this video and kind of like, preparing my bracket and like picking my teams and going over everything, I really, really wanted to pick Green Bay with an upset here. But I just can't. Like, I would love for them to. I think it'd be so cool for Jordan Love and that super, super young team, especially their offense. But the Cowboys are just one of the better teams in the league. I mean, Dak and CeeDee Lamb, it's like one of the better duos in the entire NFL right now. You have the Cowboys defense, of course. I think Gilmore's banged up. I'm not sure he's playing or not, so a bit of a loss there. But I do think the Cowboys will still handle the Packers because, again, the lack of his experience there is just a big thing for Jordan Love. But, again, that dude has really grown and kind of just leaped almost from where he started the season at. So, very happy about that. I actually did a video, though, I'm not going to lie, actually talking about Jordan Love back in July where I thought he would end the season to be pretty good. So, I'm very proud of myself for seeing that. But, I'm not going to lie, I didn't think he'd be this good. So, I don't know. Props Jordan Love. Props to the Packers. They've really done a great job of developing that team. But I am picking the Cowboys in that game. I don't think the Packers are just quite there yet to beat the Cowboys. So now for the divisional round. This is where it gets very, very difficult. And I'm going to be honest, I literally sat here when I had this all mapped out, just staring at these matchups because I was going through all these different scenarios because I can see a lot of different things happening, okay? And so for that reason, if you guys have different outcomes, different picks than me, which I'm sure you guys will, comment down below what you have different than me. Not the same. I guess you can if you want to, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts, your matchups, what team you think can make a run to Super Bowl. That's what I don't know, because there's a lot of different possibilities, and I will mention those as well while we're doing this. But first game we're going to talk about is the Ravens and the Browns. And I am not going to lie, like I've said before, I literally stared at this for a long time, kind of going back and forth with each team, because this is a divisional game for obviously divisional teams in the divisional round of the playoffs, and it is Joe Flacco, assuming the Browns beat the Texans, it is Joe Flacco playing the Ravens in Baltimore, okay, his old team in Baltimore. It's just like, it feels like one of those games where the storyline is so good, Flacco's going to win it, or like the team the story's focusing on is going to win. And I honestly at first picked the Browns because I do think the Browns are very capable of winning this game. But as you guys can probably tell by the tone of my voice right now, I am going to pick the Ravens because I think overall they're just a better team. I really do. I think their offense is better. I think Lamar's playing at a better level than Joe Flacco is, which, it kind of sounds funny to say that in 2024. I have to actually state that, but, whatever. So I'm going to pick the Ravens in this game. But what I will say, this is one of those games where if you guys have the Browns, that is perfectly valid in my opinion. In fact, I still kind of think the Browns can pull it off because here's the other thing. The Ravens have not played Flacco yet, okay? They played Watson and they played somebody else, and I can't think of who it was, but it was not Flacco. So I am kind of interested to see how this goes. First game playing Flacco for the Ravens. I think it's going to be a very close game. It should be very exciting, but I am going to pick the Ravens in that game. And in the next game, which is the Chiefs and the Bills, I think this will be a very exciting game. It usually always is between the Chiefs and the Bills. But I'm picking the Bills. I'm going to be honest. I think the Bills are on fire. The Chiefs have just not really blown me away this year, to be honest. I mean, they've led the league in drops. They've lost games they should have won, like the Raiders game. They just don't really jump off the page to me. So I'm going to pick the Bills. I did not think I'd be picking the Bills to go to the divisional round at this point if you asked me this like 6 weeks ago. But here we are, having the Bills beating the Chiefs to advance to the AFC Championship game over to the NFC. So then we have the 49ers and the Buccaneers because of my upset pick. Yes, it would be cool if the Buccaneers did get to this point like I picked them to. Even if they don't, this could just, I mean, if you guys pick the Eagles to beat the Buccaneers, for me, this is just 49ers against Buccaneers/Eagles. I don't think either team beats them, to be perfectly honest with you. I haven't picked the Buccaneers. Even if I did pick the Eagles, I don't think they beat the Buccaneers or the 49ers. I'm making it way more confusing than it has to be. But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. 49ers matchup against the Buccaneers, you know, bit lopsided in the 49ers' favor. I don't think it'll be very close. So 49ers in that one. And then the Lions and the Cowboys. And I really hope I'm right with my predictions so far. So we actually get this rematch after the whole, you know, a few weeks ago, not reporting eligible thing, whatever. I'm going to pick the Lions. I think if you get to this point where it's a playoff game for Detroit after you're coming off a win, okay? This will be coming off a win for the Lions. You best believe that Dan Campbell is going to have these guys ready to play and go out there and beat the Cowboys like they should have the first time. Because, I mean, you guys know who Dan Campbell is, I assume, Lions coach. He gets fired up, and he has that kind of mindset of really just going and just kind of beating the crap out of people, and especially that mindset in a playoff game against a team you should have just beat because you lost in like a whole ref thing. Like, I think if it gets to this point, Dan Campbell is going to make sure his guys are prepared. He's going to have a game plan. I think the Lions are going to win this if it comes down to it. So Lions over Cowboys to advance to the NFC Championship game. And now we're down to the final four teams. So at this point, we now have the AFC Championship with the Ravens and the Bills. Personally, I could see us going either way, but I have to just go with the Ravens. As of right now, they are, in my opinion, the best team in the NFL. I think their defense can really get to Josh Allen, make him panic, make him get careless with the ball. I think they'll capitalize off turnovers. I'm picking the Ravens over the Bills. I think it will be a very good game, though. I think both teams have a very good shot to win that game, but personally, I'm going with the Ravens. I think they have quite the advantage against the Bills' offense with how good their defense is and making Josh Allen do weird Josh Allen things he does sometimes where he just throws the ball to their team for no reason. And so then on the NFC side, you have the 49ers and the Lions. And I want to pick the Lions. I really do, but I don't think the Lions can get past the 49ers defense. And more so, I think the 49ers offense really gives the Lions defense issues. Although what I will say is if Aiden Hutchinson can get to Brock Purdy and to pressure him consistently, you know, a different story. Because I don't know if the Lions secondary is really going to be able to stop Kittle or Ayuk or Debo or even McCaffrey out of the backfield that well, to be honest with you. So I think your only hope for the Lions is really just getting to Purdy, pressuring him, making him get bad balls off, pick him off that way. Because I don't think the Lions match up with the 49ers, at least in my opinion. So if it comes down to it like I have it set up right now, I'm picking the 49ers over the Lions. And so then for the Super Bowl matchup, the Ravens versus the 49ers. I think this would be a lot of fun. We already had this, and it didn't go so well for the 49ers. And I actually am going to pick the Ravens. I think the Ravens will double down. They'll beat them again. They will, once again, just beat the 49ers. I mean, it's that simple to me. I think the Ravens are just the better team. I'm not going to say, oh, because they beat them once, they'll automatically beat them again. That makes no sense. Any team can win any week. But the Ravens, I think, the way they matched up last time, they pressured Purdy. They slowed down the offense. I think they do very similar things at this point to find themselves in the Super Bowl. And I think at this point as well, to beat the Super Bowl, Lamar Jackson's going to be really, really just kind of feeling it. I mean, he's probably going to be MVP. To get to this point, I think it's going to rely a lot on him anyway, so I think he's going to be very confident. He's going to come in there, dismantle the 49ers defense, and I think he's going to win it. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was a very low-scoring Super Bowl, like 17-10, 17-14, 17-16, something like that. But I do have the Ravens win the Super Bowl over the 49ers. And so if you guys stayed this long, first off, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I do more info videos like this all the time. I did my week picks, I did power rankings, and for the offseason, we do all kinds of draft stuff, team prediction stuff, just a whole lot of content like that. If you didn't see it last year, you can go check it out if you want to get like a feel like of what it's kind of my videos are kind of like. But if not, just trust me, a lot of NFL content. I also do Madden videos where we do like pack openings, no money spin series, gameplays, all that kind of stuff. But the second thing I wanted to say was, if you guys stayed this long in the video, I want to give you guys like an alternate bracket in a way, okay? I'm not going to have it on the screen or anything, but if you want to go back to the Ravens and the Browns, if you pick the Browns in that game instead of the Ravens, I think the Browns beat the Chiefs or Bills in the AFC Championship game, and the Browns then advance to the Super Bowl, and I think the Lions on the other half beat the 49ers, and then it's a Browns-Lions Super Bowl, and then, you know, take your pick there. That's like my kind of fun bracket, if that makes sense. I would rather that happen. I don't think it's as realistic as the one I made, but that's like another one that I thought about. Very heavy, actually, making like my actual bracket for this, but I just don't see the Browns really pulling off against the Ravens as wide. But again, that's like another kind of scenario there as well. But thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.